using standard Hebrew gematria, where Aleph has a value of 1, and each letter is incremented by 1 until double digits are formed, and then each letter is incremented by 10 until triple digits are formed, and then each letter is incremented by 100 until the letter Tav, which has a value of 400. Using this system of gematria, standard Hebrew gematria, Francis first equals 666. This is what the English entry for Pope Francis says in the Wikipedia under Title and Styles. Quote, "It is customary when referring to popes to translate the regnal name into local languages. Thus he is Papa Franciscus in Latin, the official language of the Holy See, Papa Francesco in Italian, the language of the Vatican, Papa Francisco in his native Spanish, and Pope Francis in English." Unquote. So what is the spelling used for the Hebrew version of his name? Is it Franciscus, Francesco, Francisco, or Francis? If we once again go to the Wikipedia entry for Pope Francis and then click on the Hebrew language option, we find that the Hebrew transliteration is based on the Latin version of his name, which is Franciscus. This means that technically it is Franciscus first using standard Hebrew gematria that equals 666, not Francis first. Please note that Hebrew is written and read from right to left. This then leaves us with one more detail to verify. That is the usage of the Hebrew letter Yud in place of the Roman numeral for 1, which is the capitalized letter I. But before we do that, let us verify that Francis is indeed the first pope to be named as Francis. Turning again to the Wikipedia, we find that there are 266 popes, and that Francis is indeed the only pope to be named Francis, and this is evident by the lack of Roman numerals after his name, as shown in this list. If we go to the Wikipedia entry for Yud, we read that Yud is the 10th letter of the Semitic abjads, including Phoenician Yod and Hebrew Yod. The Phoenician letter gave rise to the Greek iota and the Latin I. If we click on the entry for Hebrew Yud, we read in both biblical and modern Hebrew, Yud represents a palatal approximant J. As a mater lectonus, it represents the vowel I. The Hebrew letter Yud is therefore the best letter to represent the Roman numeral I, and therefore the position of first in the name Franciscus. Franciscus first equals 666 using standard Hebrew gematria. There are other significant calculations I would like to show you. Using ordinal English gematria, where each letter is assigned a value in accordance with its order in the alphabet, so that A equals 1, and each letter is incremented by 1 until the letter Z, which equals 26. Using this form of gematria, Pope Francis equals 122. Jorge Bergoglio, which is his birth name, equals 145. Second beast and false prophet equals 267. Catholic Church equals 132. If we add together the numbers 122, 145, 267, 132, we get 666. This is incredible, to say the least, but that is only one layer of information that exists within this calculation. If we add together 122 for Pope Francis and 145 for Jorge Bergoglio, we get 267, which just so happens to be the value for second beast and false prophet. This means that Pope Francis Jorge Bergoglio equals second beast and false prophet. Not only that, but a quote from Revelation chapter 13 verse 11, which is, "He spake as a dragon," also equals 145, which, as previously spoken, equals Jorge Bergoglio. The last layer of information in this calculation is that Pope Francis equals 122. 122 also equals Chi Xi Stigma, which is the English spelling for the Greek letters that represent 600, 60, and 6. These Greek letters, Chi, Xi, and Stigma, are seen in Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, in the original Greek text. Pope Francis is not the only name that equals 122 using ordinal English gematria. Franciscus I, using the Roman numeral I, also equals 122, as well as Papa Francisco also equals 122 using ordinal English gematria, which, if you recall, in the titles and styles section of the Wikipedia entry for Pope Francis, was the Spanish version of his name. This means that Pope Francis has 3 names using ordinal English gematria that equate to the number 666 using the Chi Xi Stigma bridge. Instead of using ordinal English gematria, we use Latin gematria, where A equals 1 and each letter is incremented by 1 until the number 9, whereby the following letter is reset back to the number 1, and each letter is then incremented by 1 until the number 9 once again, and the following letter is then reset back to the number 1, so that only single digits are used, and that Z equals the number 8. If we use this system of gematria, then we have the following calculations. Chi Xi Stigma equals 59. Pope Francis equals 59. Dragon equals 59. Papa Francisco equals 59. So that 59 equates to the number 666, since Chi, Xi, and Stigma represent 600, 60, and 6. We therefore have a second witness that Pope Francis equals 666 using the Chi Xi Stigma bridge. Using ordinal Hebrew gematria, Franciscus I equals 144. Using ordinal English gematria, Mark of the Beast also equals 144, which, by the way, has the factors 6 times 6 times 4. This is highly significant in light of Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, which says the following, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." The he that is being referred to here in this text is the second beast, which is believed to be Pope Francis. Using acrophonic standard Hebrew gematria, where the spelling for each Hebrew letter is utilized to generate the gematria for that particular letter. For example, Aleph equals 111 because it is spelt with an Aleph, a Lamed, and a Pei. Aleph has a value of 1, Lamed has a value of 30, and Pei has a value of 80. If we add these numbers up together, we get 111. Using acrophonic standard Hebrew gematria, Franciscus I equals 1279. Also equaling 1279, using acrophonic standard Hebrew gematria, is the Hebrew spelling for the Greek letters chi, xi, and stigma, which represent the numbers 600, 60, and 6. We therefore have a second witness to Franciscus First equaling 666, using Hebrew gematria. Using cardinal standard English gematria, where the value of each letter is determined by the spelling of each number assigned to it. For example, A has a value of 115 because it has the number 1 assigned to it. 1 is spelt with an O, an N, and an E. O has a value of 60, N has a value of 50, and E has a value of 5. 60 plus 50 plus 5 equals 115. A therefore has a value of 115. Using cardinal standard English gematria, Franciscus First equals 8,218. Also equaling 8,218 is the grand gematria for Jorge Mario Bergoglio, which is Pope Francis's full birth name. This is achieved by using standard English gematria as well as cardinal standard English gematria. Using standard English gematria, it equals 642, and using cardinal standard English gematria, it equals 7,576. When we combine these two numbers, we get 8,218. Also equaling 8,218 is the grand gematria for Pope Francis Jorge Mario Bergoglio, second beast. This is achieved by adding together the following gematria types: 1636 for standard English gematria, 430 for ordinal English gematria, 1936 for Jewish Old English gematria, 2580 for base 6 English gematria, and 1636 for standard English gematria binary. Jewish Old English gematria looks like this. It should be noted that the values for J, V, and W are based on their later arrival to the alphabet during the 1600s. It should be noted that ampersand, if it still existed as a letter, would have had a value of 800. This is what base 6 English gematria looks like. Essentially, it is ordinal English gematria values multiplied by 6. This is what standard English gematria binary looks like. The values for W, X, Y, and Z equals 0. This system was devised by Monty Judah in 1987, according to Tim Cohen in his book The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea. Using this gematria system, Prince Charles of Wales equals 666. The highest value is limited to 400 based on the standard Hebrew gematria values. Using standard English gematria, Franciscus First equals 1067, and incredibly also equaling 1067 is Abomination of Desolation, also using standard English gematria. This is a highly significant finding in relation to the following verses: Revelation chapter 13 verses 14 and 15. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The pronoun he is referring to the antecedent another beast. That is the second beast, referred to in Revelation chapter 13. That second beast is believed to be Pope Francis or Franciscus I, and the image that is being referred to is believed to be the abomination of desolation. It is the second beast, or Pope Francis, that orders for the abomination of desolation to be set up. If we return again to the Wikipedia entry for Pope Francis and go to the Titles and Styles option in the menu, if we click on this link, we find that his full title, which is rarely used, is His Holiness Francis, Bishop of Rome, Vicar of Jesus Christ, Successor of the Prince of the Apostles, Supreme Pontiff of the Universal Church, Primate of Italy, Archbishop and Metropolitan of the Roman Province, Sovereign of the Vatican City State, Servant of the Servants of God. That is Pope Francis's full title. If we take that name or that title and put it into the calculator, we get 16,685 using standard English gematria. Incredibly, also equaling 16,685 is the Grand Gematria for Pope Francis Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the second beast, the false prophet. The Grand Gematria for this calculation is achieved by adding together the following gematria types: 2,707 using standard English gematria, 637 using ordinal English gematria, 2,647 using Jewish Old English gematria, 3,822 using base 6 English gematria, 2,707 using standard English gematria binary, 295 using Latin gematria or single digit gematria, and 3,870 using cardinal ordinal English gematria, which looks like this. If we add up all these numbers, we get 16,685. This is incredible to say the least. Think about this for a moment. The full title for Pope Francis equals 16,685. The same value for the Grand Gematria of his name, his full name, Pope Francis Jorge Mario Bergoglio, as well as the other identifiers that tie him into Revelation chapter 13, that is the second beast and the false prophet. For these two calculations to equal one another is an incredible identifier for who the second beast and false prophet is. Along with the other calculations I have shown you, it is a conclusive proof that Pope Francis is the false prophet and is the second beast of Revelation chapter 13. There are more calculations which I can show you, which I will perhaps do, Lord willing, in another video, but this will suffice for now. Please refer to the link in the description box below for my very first video about Pope Francis being the second beast seen in Revelation chapter 13.